afternoon, good morning, good evening, anywhere you are watching this from around the world. You are in tune to another episode of Grow Daily Meets. Today we are here with the crew, or some members of the crew, aka Matt's BBQ, or the crew of Matt's BBQ rather. How you doing today, guys?
Good to see you, bro. How you doing?
I'm very well. So firstly, who are we actually here with today?
Got LV.
Sorry.
And I'm Matt.
And part of the crew and part of Matt's BBQ. Now, for those who don't know what Matt's BBQ is, how would you say is actually the best way to describe Matt's BBQ?
It's always grown, so Matt's BBQ is just a good turn up. And it is what it sounds like. Started as a barbecue, but now it's just grown over the last 12 years to something that's pretty much a festival.
Wow, okay. So if we go right back to the beginning, 2006, where Matt's BBQ started in your garden, right?
Yeah, so where we are now, Matt's BBQ started here 2006. Me and Ty Smurf, you might know him as, he's not here right now, but we literally, these days, you didn't even have social media, bro. Like, yeah. I remember we was fresh off of, we went to Choice Weekender. I remember we went, that was 06, that was live. Wow. And we just met loads of people that year. And we said, you know what, Matt, it's your 18th birthday, blah, 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 let's do something. So we had to literally we made a text, yeah, and sent it to any girls that we knew, guys, whatever, and just sent it and just see what happens, because we didn't even have a Facebook or nothing to go around in them days. So we said, all right, we're gonna throw you a barbecue. Let's make it pop, like, and let's go off. And then, bruv, all the people we met over that year and all the friends just came, and it was an instant vibe. It was just instant. But it was just funny because you never know, like, because you ain't got the social medias, you don't know who's coming, what's going. You're just texting people and saying, yeah, I'll come to you, I'll see what happens. And before we knew it, cars were just pulling up outside, and it just got ram.
So in theory, it was a case of early social media, but in terms of text messaging,
I guess so. Yeah.
Probably before broadcast messaging.
Yeah.
Just literally Genie Chip and texting.
yeah.
So in terms of
Genie Chip.
Showing my age now, you know what I mean?
One-to-one used to go down.
Oh, God.
Nah, you would have people from Birmingham that year. So in terms of the first year or the first barbecue or Matt's BBQ, how many people would you say you probably had?
I'd say between 30 and 50. Okay. Somewhere between that amount, yeah.
Okay. So 30 to 50 people, little barbecue, little bit of food, some drink. If we fast forward to, say, 2012, when you had to turn around and say, kind of outgrown the garden.
Well, I didn't say that.
Move.
It wasn't. Yeah, let me. So it wasn't so much as we was like, let's outgrow it. Mama kicked us out the yard.
Okay.
She's like, I had enough of this. We've not been doing this for like 6 years solid now.
I think the last year in the yard, there was like, you know what I mean, there's people throwing up.
People
dropping downstairs.
Oh, wow.
It's called do you know what it was? It's like, when you call it a barbecue, really and truly, it was like a house party that blended into the garden. But back in our days, when you used to say house party, people were disrespecting it. If you heard there's a house party going on in Catford, all random people show up. If you say it's a barbecue, it's more of like an intimate thing. Yeah. So you get the right people showing up. And that's what caused the vibe. Like, because you're saying I'm going to someone's barbecue, and it's daytime. It's not like you turn up to a house party in the middle of the night and you're just like, whatever, I don't know whose house it is, but I'm coming in.
Yeah.
When it's a barbecue, you kind of have a bit more respect. You come in, you know you're going to see probably the parents, the family and all that, but then it turns into a house party later on. So that's what sets the vibes.
I can agree. So that's 2012.
Yep.
Do you remember roughly how much people you're talking at that?
The first time that we come out of the house?
Yeah.
Well, when the year before, the time we actually got kicked out, there was about 150 people in the yard.
Okay.
So this is like back front. Like,
but now we're talking the first venue outside of the house.
The first one was about.
It was about 300.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. We told the guy.
We told the guy 80 on the day.
Well, to be honest, we didn't know. This is the first time that, because it used to be my house, I didn't want to invite people that, like, I was really picky on who I would actually invite to this thing. Because when it started getting later, Facebook did come out, So then when Facebook come out, I made the event on there, but I made it private, and I'll be like, right, it took me ages. I go all day, I pick that person.
Yeah.
I don't know who that man might bring, and it was cracking. But now when I was at the house, I thought, I actually don't have to care, like, because it's not my house.
Yeah.
So I was like, invite. I started inviting everyone.
Yeah.
And obviously we didn't sell no tickets or nothing like that. It was just turn up. All these for 6, 7 years. Well, you're talking 10 years.
Yeah.
We put this on out of our pockets. You get me? Like, we never charged anyone a ticket until about 3 years ago.
Okay, wait, sorry. I just want to highlight that fact. So from 2006
until the first
when
year
was
we charged
Orange
was Bromley.
year? 2000.
That was. So last
15?
year was green. The year before that was purple, and the year before that was orange. So only the last 3 years. I've been
Yeah,
charging, I
last
think.
14, yeah.
So other than that, or up to then, 3 years ago, everything was coming out of you guys' pocket.
Yeah.
So I used to put on, obviously when it was on my, I used to put it on here. I remember one year, like we ran out, like somebody was like, "What? There's no patties." I remember running up to Tesco's and buying 30 patties. That's how I remember. I remember doing a head count. There's about 30 people there. I bought 30 patties from Tesco, put the microwave in the garden, and everyone just got on with it. Like it was nice. But yeah, as it got bigger, we were still putting on the food for people. When it was in Perry Hill, all them places, we was going to meat market the morning before, and I used to budget. I used to spend like each barbecue in that outside the house. I used to spend about. You're talking about 3 to 5 bills just on like food and drinks for people, like because I still felt that, you get me. And then when the crew got together, we used to just chip in, and we never ever charged. Like we just put it on until it got too much. But yeah, that was all a thing of. I think that's where we can get to. It's like we didn't expect it to grow into a business. It was still just a turn up. So we didn't expect to charge no one or nothing like that. But obviously the numbers grew too much to the point where venues would charge you so much it has to sort of start charging and stuff like that, because. I don't know how many grands would have been out of pocket up until then, but it's a lot.
So when was it, or what was it rather, that made you turn around and decide, okay, look, we can actually form a business situation from this, or not even just that, but we can actually ensure the event pays for itself at least?
So the first time I think we decided to make that, we was hiring venues that were like football clubs and cricket clubs. They'll charge us like 150 quid, 200 quid. Then it started crawling up to like 400, 500 quid to rent it, and I thought, oh, we can cover that. And then when we had one of the big ones in Catford, the yellow year when it was hot, he charged us, I think, £400 on the first time. When he saw how big it was, and that's when everyone started seeing dollar signs and that, he was like, why am I that? But I don't know, he knows we weren't charging tickets, but the next year we came back, that price doubled. He was basically, he wanted £1,000, and we talked him down to like £800 or something like that.
It was so nuts.
So that's when we had to start saying, do you know what? We're buying food at the meat market. It's coming up to a few grand now that we're putting out of pocket for everyone. So that's when we decided we were going to start charging. And the first time we started charging, it was £5 a ticket.
Okay.
Just to literally cover costs.
Yeah. So that's what I was going to be my next question. Was it just to break even, or was the aim to actually make some form of some sort of profit from the event?
Them years definitely just to break even, because we didn't know what we were stepping into. When we used to have the ones where there's a few hundred people, like we used to do it under a 10 notice. A 10 notice is a type of licensing you get, which is up to 500 people, and it doesn't really cost you anything. You just have to let the council know, and you can have it on. So them days we just had to cover our costs there. It's only 2 years ago, when it went into sort of festival mode, when it went over 500 people, we realised how much licensing actually costs and things like that. Like thousands and thousands of pounds just to get a bit of paper to say you can have a party here. And that's when we was like, shit, we need to start charging, because otherwise it can't happen. Like we all got our jobs and we got our own things to do, but either we charge or it can't happen, because now it's too much.
Okay. So stepping into, let's say, festival land or festival sort of areas, when was the first Matt's BBQ event that was now classified as a festival?
Last year, for sure.
Yeah.
So last year was the first time we had a ground that was made for festivals.
Okay.
And we had somebody who was kind enough to sort of take us in, because there's no young black people, to put it straight, that were doing any festivals. Even the festivals you would class as black, like
Even
Wireless.
now, no one's really doing what we're doing right now.
But even, I'm saying big festivals like Wireless and that, they book black artists, but they're not black festivals. There's not black people running it.
Okay.
It's a very tight field where people keep their contacts together, and it's hard. They won't show you the ropes of how to do it. Like they just won't. They would just outprice you and things like. When it used to cost us a couple of grand to put on, when I heard that the last festival that we had cost, I'm gonna say it's in the tens of thousands to put on, like in the high tens of thousands as well. So when you hear that, you're like, oh shit, like it will put most people off and not do it. But we was lucky enough to have the following that as soon as we put tickets on sale, people bought it. So now we've got the money up front to do these things.
Okay.
So I say last year is when we first stepped into festival world, where we had to get the right licensing, with the right, and be honest about the number of people, because all these other places we were going, we're like, yeah, a couple hundred people might come, then 1,000 people come, and then we're never allowed back. Yeah. Because it's so much people. But last year was the first time we was honest with the guy. I was like, look, about a couple thousand people are coming. He was like, yeah, cool, let's do it. But it's going to cost this much. But yeah, that's so. Last year is the first time we stepped into the real festival world.
So you said you touched upon earlier that you had to get literally, let's say, a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Just to obviously give you the right to say you can actually do or hold a festival.
Yeah.
Obviously, the dynamics are now beginning to change. You're now having to get the likes of be classified as a festival. You're now having to pay for more things. When that change came about, I know obviously you said that by now you've got the crew. So there's obviously different members of the team. Is it a case of it that obviously it's going to be more work, but did you then see the difference in terms of what you now had to do to have the event Matt's BBQ in comparison to, say, just holding it in your garden or in the other venues?
Yeah, do you know what? It opened my eyes up to both sides. It opened my eyes up to realising how much we got away with in the previous years in terms of, like, that I didn't realise how, like, I didn't realise how good our crowd was as well. Because we had, the other years we had hundreds and hundreds of people that were just well behaved. Up until now, we've never had no sort of trouble in the event or nothing like that. So these things have to be in place, like security and paperwork and things like that. But up until last year, I didn't realise how deep the paperwork goes into having anything over basically 500 people turns into a whole rigmarole of just loads and loads of paperwork and paying a lot of people to do this paperwork just to have it. It's a lot of laws you've got to pass here to be able to have something like that.
Okay. Now, what you guys have actually done is you've now created from, let's say, a fun barbecue or celebrating your birthday to an actual business.
Right.
How do you actually find it now that you've actually got a main scale business where you're actually inviting or you're actually holding events where you're having anywhere between 3,000 and 5,000 people at a time? Because it is now a business, I'm assuming.
The only time in my mind I saw it as a business was last year. Is the most amount of money I've seen transfer, although like of turnover when you start talking about business.
Okay.
Now, when we started charging tickets and it started, we never got into this to be profitable. It was just a birthday party. It's not like we had a business plan. It was like, right, we're going to do this thing. We're going to make some money and blah, blah, blah. We started charging to cover our costs. And then we found ourselves with money left over now and then we was like, okay, there's about 10 of us in our crew.
Okay.
And let's say when we first started charging tickets, we was left with like a couple grand, let's say just over. And we're like, that's not going to do nothing for us, 10 of us. So that's when we decided we're going to start giving to charities and giving back because this ain't going to really change our lives. What's the point of that? And like, we never did this to be profitable. So I think the first charity we gave to was London Air Ambulance.
Yeah.
Because that London Air Ambulance, if you didn't know, it's like, I thought it was government funded, but it's not. Government don't even pay for that. They're a charity, so themselves have to fund the fuel for the helicopter and all that. And when there's young people getting stabbed on the road and stuff, and they're coming to save that man's life, that's not even government funded, bro. It's mad. I didn't really learn about it. So they're the first people we donated to, and we've kept that theme ever since because it was like every year we just want to donate to someone and give back because we never came to it for a business, and if we can just help our own community in any way we can, then we will.
Okay. Well, I know our viewers are definitely gonna want me to ask this. Over the years that you have been able to donate, what sort of amounts have you donated so far?
So the first year we donated 1,000 to London Air Ambulance.
Okay.
The second, I think the other year we donated 1,000 to a mentoring group that they go around all the schools locally. They go Addison, Stanhope, Deptford Green, and just it's just about mentoring and getting children into the right path and things like that. Okay. Then I donated a few hundred to an orphanage the other day.
We also do jacket runs as well, and Boxing Day we did a little.
That's right.
Just make sure the homeless people were like nice and warm. Did a little barbecue as well. Make sure day was good. So yeah, man.
That was Christmas Day. Boxing Day?
Boxing Day.
Christmas Day.
Oh, Christmas Day. Sorry.
Christmas Day,
it's Christmas Day.
We do a barbecue on Christmas Day. So that's probably pretty illegal as well, to be fair with you. Because there's like,
listen, there's so much paperwork for everything.
Like, to be a charity, you have to register and pay this and that. I was like, bruv, I just want to give some money. Like, why are you telling me I need paperwork to be a charity? I was like, I'm just want to help out. So there's like a local spot, I don't know if you know, down Deptford High Street, where it's like a lot of drunk people, homeless people, people that's well off sort of hang out. You know, you got those spots where they'll hang out. So on Christmas Day, we just rolled a barbecue out there and we just cook for them and just like have drinks there, food, whatever, and just make a good day of it. So that's, we try and use our money in good ways because the amounts of money we was making wasn't enough to make it a business yet for us to quit our jobs and all that.
Yeah.
Now it's changed different. Since the numbers have like grown so much, now we can like I haven't been to work for the last for the last couple of months to be honest with you. But I can see how it's a full-time job now with all this paperwork, and only from now on, I can see it can be definitely a big profitable business.
So from again, just to clarify, from the situation of where you've grown Matt's BBQ till now,
Yep.
you're now in a position that you can solely focus on the
If I
Matt's
have-
BBQ event.
Yeah, I think so. For sure, next summer I'll solely focus on that. But now so many opportunities are popping up because of people have heard of it. We've had like lots of clubs and things. Lots of clubs have contacted us and say, "Why don't you have like a winter barbecue or do this and that?" But it's like it's just a club night in it. So
Yeah.
I want to keep the theme, which is why we've always like allowed the people to bring drinks until we'll get into that subject for this year.
Yeah.
We've allowed like we always even this year we're now have to you can't bring drinks and charging with the dirt cheap prices because I don't want to just make it another event. I just want to I want something to that theme to still be there. Do you know what I mean?
Keep the brand.
Of course.
That makes
So
sense.
yeah, there are other opportunities there now where we can have 2 or 3 events. And so now, business-wise, yes, definitely, this is where I want to be now and where we are going. That I want to solely focus on the Matt's BBQ brand. We've been approached by a beach in Jamaica. We're having an event in Jamaica this year. Having one here. If you have one in the winter and one maybe a Matt's BBQ and a summer closing party,
Okay.
something like that. So if I have about 4 or 5 events a year, that definitely keep me busy enough and can focus on.
So would you say for the future plans is definitely to incorporate maybe 4 or 5 events for the year under the Matt's BBQ
Yeah.
umbrella or brand?
Definitely. And I don't want to oversaturate it and make it boring. You always have the main barbecue. I might have one now where everyone keeps asking me as well, like, are you going to get artists down? You're going to bring artists down?
Okay.
The thing is with me, like, I think we could do one like that, but I'd always still want to actually have the barbecue as well, where it's just a DJ lineup.
Okay.
Reason being that, like, when you go to, like, these other festivals and stage shows, everyone sort of stands up and waiting for the next act to come on, and I don't think that's a party vibe. It's cool,
Yeah.
like, everyone wants to see the artists and it's cool, but I think what's unique about the barbecue is that because you're not expecting acts to be on the stage, just big DJs, everybody just integrates some vibes and it just makes it just a big party. I think that's what makes it different from other things.
Okay. Okay. Just you touched on Matt's BBQ in Jamaica. I don't just want to go past that as if it's nothing.
Like it's not a big deal. Go on.
How did that literally come about for you?
Well, I've been going to Jamaica every year since I can remember. So I've got a lot of contacts out there and just people. I go to a lot of parties out there, and that's what I base the barbecue on. The way that they party out there is carefree. It's almost like, do you know what I mean? Where you come in, a lot of the parties are all inclusive, which is that's where I want to take this business to. My ultimate goal for the barbecue is to now be, you get a sponsor on board, or I pay all the drinks up front. You pay a premium ticket price, let's say a higher price, but once you get in, all drinks are free all day.
Okay.
And that's what I'm basing the Matt's BBQ business model on, to how you party over there, because we don't have nothing like that here. At all.
Very true.
But yeah, the barbecue came around because last year we booked Chromatic as well from Jamaica. We got a lot of contacts out there. So it started to get out there. Like, there was like, what's this Matt's BBQ thing that these men are flying over to England to play for? Like,
Wow.
so
This is in Jamaica, yeah?
This is in Jamaica, yeah.
Wow,
So a lot of people
okay.
in Jamaica are thinking, because Chromatic is a big sound in Jamaica, and they're like, so hold on, what is now? The buzz has started to happen there, and basically someone sort of got in contact with us, like a beach, and was like, why don't you bring this over here? We thought, how can we make it work? So we talked about it, and Dream Weekend happens out there anyway. It's just got a big English presence in it now.
Okay.
And it just made sense. So we talked numbers and sorted it all out, and now we've got the barbecue happening out there, and it's almost sold out already.
Yeah.
Well, it has sold out. They've only just allowed us to extend it to have a few more people in, so we're putting more tickets back on soon.
Okay, so we've got Matt's BBQ in the, well, I suppose you have to say Matt's BBQ UK now.
Yeah.
On the 28th of July, and then the 2nd of August in Jamaica.
2nd
is
of
that-
August
is
in
that
Jamaica,
right?
so it's like 5 days after.
Okay. Would you see the Matt's BBQ brand going anywhere else in terms of external to the
Yes.
UK?
Definitely. I think because Jamaica's far. I love Jamaica, but it's far. So if you had the Matt's BBQ, let's say Ibiza or Portugal, something where it's easy for people to go to, I think that we've got the strong following now, and people know it's a good vibe time that we could, so we said from now next year we have Matt's BBQ Portugal, we'd get a good amount of numbers of people there, and I want to start working on those kind of plans for next year or the year after.
Okay. How do you keep Matt's BBQ focused as an event rather than just a big party per se? Because some could say, isn't it just a big party? What is it that you guys do that ensures that it is separate?
Well, I think that's what is the selling point. It is a big party. And you got to think about it, yeah, especially like when you're talking in the black or urban scene. Our parties got taken away from us, bro. Like there's no, all the raving days when we used to go up West End and be able to rave in whatever venues and this and that now. Where are the big venues now? That got taken away from us. So like this was just like the perfect thing. Like, okay, venues, you see if something, the venues can say, all right, turn around and go, all right, you can't come to this venue or whatever. But you can't throw us out of a field. Like, so if I do everything properly and go into a field and say, right, we're setting up a party there, now we become the club. So you're not answering to somebody higher up that says, oh, we don't want no urban events here, mate, sorry, or we don't want no black events here, basically is what they will say to you.
Yeah.
We are now the venue and the bar and whatever, so you set your own sort of stuff. So I think that's what makes it unique, because there are no black parties anymore.
Okay, so now that you're in a position where you're now dealing with Matt's BBQ, the following is, let's say, anywhere between 3,000 and 5,000 people at an event. How do you now deal with the changes, i.e., I know for a period Matt's BBQ was an event where you could bring your own bottles, bring your own drink. Because of things which are completely out of your control now, how have these things actually affected the event, and how do you now deal with this moving forward for the event?
It's hard. Like, we have to obviously adhere to whatever rules have been given to us, and that was a devastating blow to us, because that was the unique part about the event. You could bring a drink, and now that is one of the major rules that got brought in this year because of the rise in acid attacks and all these things that you have to account for. It's out of our control now, isn't it? When it was in the garden, you know who you're dealing with. Yeah. Even when it moved to Catford and those places, you still know the crowd. Now it's got to 5,000 people, and our ticketing sales tell us where the buyers are from. We've got like, what is it, about 40 people from Birmingham coming down, and Manchester and here and there. We don't know who anyone is now, so it is out of your control.
Their own coach just to come down.
Yeah, they're booking their own coaches coming down. So you have to adhere to these safety rules, and I get it, but that was a blow. So to deal with it, we just want to show the people we're not, obviously it's a business now, but we're still for the people. We're still for making it the cheapest, best time that you can have. So what we did, we're putting on drinks this year at dirt cheap prices, basically, that you won't find at any other festival. Like, singles are £2.50, doubles are £5. You can buy a bottle of drink for 45 quid.
It's not even in clubs, right, our prices.
Wow. Now, you said that you sort of follow a blueprint that you've picked up from partying in Jamaica.
Yeah.
You guys are at a stage now, or actually getting to a stage now, where there will be others, people who are younger, maybe even some that are older, looking at your blueprint, looking at your model, to say, you know, we want to do an event similar to that or like that.
Yeah.
What sort of advice would you give to those, especially those younger, who would say we would want to put on some kind of, you know, partying event, but that does indeed do well, and we can hopefully turn to a business?
Yeah. Planning, just a lot of planning, have a good crew around you, and try and do things the right way by the books, because you're already at a disadvantage where you haven't done it before. There's not many black people doing it in that scene. The police are already looking at you, and councils are looking to just have your stuff together. So there are some people that are there's a lot of barbecues popping up now, right? So people are following the blueprint, and I'm happy to see it, to be honest with you, because it's everybody's growing around you, and like, we should have more things to go to. It's a blessing for us that we are the only thing like us at the minute, but I don't mind people copying the blueprint and people coming. You can call, if you're up for making something, I can give you advice that I wouldn't have known. Where I am now, I'm happy to give people advice on how to do it properly. Do you know what I mean? Because it's hard if you don't know how to do it properly, and they always try and shut you down at different ways, or if you don't know the proper way to do it, you won't get past the first stage. If the council and things like that don't feel confident that you know what you're doing with this party, they won't help you. They'll just stop you, and that's the unfortunate fact. So the advice I would give to them is plan things properly. Look online of everything you can think about planning festivals, and call me if you know me. Give me a bell, and I'll help you out.
It takes time as well. Don't rush it. Like 10 years, like 12 years, we're only just here. We're not where we need to be yet, but it takes time. Just let it grow. Yeah,
the natural growth has definitely helped us a lot, because I think people have seen our barbecue and how it's grown. For example, the venue we're going to now, I don't know the promoters or nothing, but there was meant to be a festival like 2 weeks before ours, and it got cancelled. So I said to them, what happened with that? She was like, they just thought they could have a rave in the field and do exactly like just book the artist and done. But they had no clue what they were doing.
They didn't know what they needed.
The council pulled the whole event.
Yeah.
So it's a natural growth thing. I think that you can't just say you're throwing a party in the field and everyone will show up because it's a party in the field.
In the field, yeah.
People will show up, but I think people show up to ours because of where it's come from and just the following that we've had.
Okay. You said obviously you got to a stage where you eventually began to make money. Would you say that your aim, I mean, excluding obviously the barbecue in your actual garden, would you say that the aim was never financial?
No, and that's why we got into the charity work, because that wasn't the aim. We've all got our full-time jobs, what we do and whatever. When we came across some leftover money when we started charging for tickets, it was like, well, like I said before, what do we do with this? Because it's not going to change our lives like too much. So that's why we started giving back. But it's only since we stepped into festival mode, like when it went to last year to like 3,000 people, we was like, oh, like, okay, can be a profitable business now. And it's only growing every year. So there's no point in stopping now. We might as well grow it as big as it can get and make the best unique party you can get. Because I feel like there's not many things like it around, and I want to keep it that way. I don't want to just turn into a festival, and this, like, do you know what I mean? Just turn into any festival where you come in, drinks are so expensive. Yeah. You've got artists, yeah, it's cool, you've got artists and that, but there's loads of festivals already. I want something to be unique about this, and that's why I'm trying to take my blueprint out of Caribbean partying experiences, because I just don't think we got nothing like that over here, and I want to be the one to bring it over here.
Okay. Knowing you guys on the personal level, I see and actually know of a lot of the work that goes into the events. But if you could, if you could give people a rough rundown of the late nights, the planning, which I know you guys have to do, obviously, which goes into the event. How much work is it, for the sake of, let's say, one day, out of the 365 days of the year? How much days are you guys actually working on this event to make sure you can actually provide something which is the success that Matt's BBQ is?
I'd almost say from January all the way to the barbecue.
I was about to say that.
Okay. Literally, like, it's
literally
just
for that one day. It's about 6 months worth of meetings, planning, sourcing. You got to think about it. When you have a club night or something like that, everything's there for you already. When you have a festival, it's a bit of grass. You've now got to build you've got to build an infrastructure. You've got to build toilets. You've got to bring in medics. You've got to bring in everything. It's its own little town. If you say, like, you've got to come in there. You've got to be able to be fed, watered, and if anything goes wrong, you've got to be able to go to the ambulance or police or whatever. You've got to build everything that's there from scratch. I would say, it takes us. Yeah. We start work January, and the barbecue happens in July, and every week.
Even to the day, we're still like, oh gosh, we've got to do this. We've got to go over here, make sure they're good. Oh, the food people's got to come in, make sure they get in their spot. It's non-stop.
Even down to that, so like down to the theme is barbecue, right? So we've got to have lots of barbecue. It got out of control. I remember, so it got to a year where we used to cook the food ourselves for everyone. Yeah. Even in Perry Hill, we just had one big barbecue, and we're literally on the grill cooking food ourselves. Yeah. And that's the year when we had the queues down there. It was like, we can't do this no more. We have to bring in caterers from outside, like, and have stands. But now, we've got to make sure they've got all their certificates in place. If someone gets food poisoning at our event, comes down to us. Yeah. It's mad, like, what the responsibilities you take on. You got 5,000 people's lives in your hands. The event, like, really, like, you got to make sure that they're safe in always, in like just safety in the event itself, or food poisoning, and this year is going to be really hot. And now with it's going to be the hottest day of the year, I think, this year. Yeah. It's looking to be next Saturday. It's like over 30 degrees, like 31 or 32. Wow. Now, with the new rules of people not being able to bring liquids in because of these acid attacks and things that they're scared about, they're not even allowed to bring water. So now we've got to buy at least 15,000 bottles of water
just to make sure everybody's just hydrated and you're still alive. So it's just, wow, it's a madness.
Wow. So just a word on I know you touched on the sponsors there. So the event, you now allow people to come in, and whether it's catering, whether it's selling products, you now obviously you're allowing individuals to do that as well. How did that also come about?
What, as in selling food and things like that, the pitch?
Yeah, because obviously you're obviously allowing people to come in and say, well, look, you can now get involved in the event. If you do catering, that's fine. Or I know there's some other products, there's hair products as well, right?
Okay, yeah. So basically, they just reach out to us. We've got a website or online. We people pitch things to us, and we just say if we think it will work for the event, we'll make it work like that. Like ORS came on board, which it's a funny brand actually. Like they got in contact with us a couple of years ago, and it's a hair care product. So I was thinking, well, how are we going to make this work with the barbecue? So they came to us with some ideas. We had a few meetings, and now they put on our VIP area. And when you walk into the VIP area, they put on free food, free drinks, and they do people's hairs and makeup, got loads of giveaways and things like that. It's a real good VIP experience there, and now us two brands are working really well together. They're putting in our VIP area this year, so especially where you can't bring your own drinks this year, now it's more appealing that people are like, right, I'll pay my more expensive ticket for the VIP, but once they walk in there, they're nice. They got food, drink, get your hair done, get a trim if you want, whatever you want.
Now, with obviously Matt's BBQ and with any event situation, you're always going to have things that unfortunately could or may indeed go wrong.
Yep.
Whether it's prior, whether it's actually on the day. What advice, again, would you give to those who may run into a situation where things become difficult, or, you know, for yourself, as you obviously had to deal with, let's say, bumps in the road?
It's not nice to think about, but prepare for the worst. You know, you don't want to think about, oh, things are going to go wrong, but you have to be prepared for it. So we knew certain bumps in the road will come, whether it be on the event, like even if you're talking about on the day of the event, you have to plan emergency exits, routes. So I go into meetings, you won't think about this. It come from a party in my garden to now I'm in meetings with the council saying, what if there's a terrorist attack? I'm like, well, what if there is a terrorist attack? Well, we've got to have an evacuation route. Got such people could be bringing bombs in. You don't want to think about these things, but you have to cover every angle and think about it and think if something mad does go wrong and there is a terrorist attack, let's say, because it's crowds of large people, you don't know where they could target. Yeah. You've got to have just a plan for if things go wrong. The same way as we had a plan for if we knew eventually that they would start clamping down on the drinks thing, because the first bump in the road was last year. They didn't even want to let us people bring drinks in, and I said why, and they said it will encourage irresponsible drinking. That was their thing. They said if you let people bring drinking, you encourage irresponsible drinking. But I was like, but that's just like if people want to drink, they want to drink. So we knew that eventually down the road, at some point, they want to clamp down and bring your own bottles. Yeah. But so then we have something else in place, and I always said to the guys, people. Even when we went to the festival last year, the festival ground, they thought I was mad. They was like, you're letting people bring drinks in. I was like, yes, because this is what it's been about, this is where it's come from. Like, because from a business side, you could capitalize on not letting people bring drinks in. But I always knew in the back of my head, at some point they're going to clamp down on this. And when they do, I always knew that, right, we're going to have dirt cheap drinks and everyone's getting their first drink for free. So 5,000 people are going to turn up this year. Well, 4,000 tickets are gone. It's climbing every day. We're capped at 5,000, so if it reaches that, but we're prepared. We've put aside, so I've spent £5,000, not £5,000, 5,000 drinks worth of money. I've put that aside to go, right, that's everybody's first drink free. Okay. Do you know what I mean? Just things like that, just to make people feel like a good experience, that you're getting looked after. Do you know what I mean? Okay. But yeah, you just have to have backups in plan for any bump in the road that could come. You just have to have something else in place, man. Always think 2 steps ahead. You can't just come across it and then panic and then that's it, like your event's done.
Would you say that for yourselves, having the team around you, because how many members is there around? About 10?
10 of us, yeah. 10?
Would you say that is helped for the event in terms of planning, in terms of getting things done? I'm assuming each individual has their own role in which they play.
Yeah, massively. I think everybody plays a good role. Everyone knows their role as well. So it's like, we're all putting out ideas, but like certain people, they won't put in ideas, but they know on the day they do this, they do that. And
that's what we all come from. Our full-time jobs are quite diverse, so that's helped us a lot in our roles. So me and Brady are in construction. So literally last year we built the bars ourselves, building this, and we've come very hands-on with that. LV is in CAD drawings, so he does on computer-assisted drawings. So when it comes to planning the site maps and stuff, we come to LV and he plans out the thing. Dwayne and Daryl are both, Dwayne and Sean are both firefighters. They know about fire safety, all these things. Tyrone's an amazing graphic designer. So it's just how it happened that it became a good business plan. We all works for events. We've got our fire and safety covered, we've got our CAD drawings covered, we've got the building side of it covered, and the promotional and graphic design side covered by Ty. Like it's a good group of people that we luckily just fell into.
Right, guys, I think we've covered everything which we need to cover. In closing, if you could, not that you're struggling with ticket sales, but if you had to explain the concept of Matt's BBQ to someone who didn't have a clue about it, what would you say in a nutshell to explain what Matt's BBQ is?
Go on.
It is what it says on the tin. Matt's BBQ is the ultimate party. It's a party. It's not a concert or nothing like that. It is a massive party, and you'll find everything you want to find there. Like, it's just vibes and it's a good party, and if I'm going to sell it anymore to the guys, last year our ticket sales ended on 60% female, so I'm just saying it's a good ratios as well. That keeps the whole vibes nice.
Listen.
Guys, thanks for your time. Thank you for appearing
Thank you.
Grow Daily One to Watch. And yeah, we're definitely going to keep watching, and we encourage everybody else out there to keep an eye on Matt's BBQ, because I think for the future, there's a lot of things going on, which is very good.
We're going to see yourselves down there?
You
going to be filming down there?
We might try and
Possibly.
be in the vicinity of the area. It's possible.
Don't you know that anyways up? Calling to bring you down.